When my husband looked at me and said, let's jump, in fact, I was actually taken back by that. And I can remember listening to Billy Graham sermons in the kitchen while we would be making it at the wee hours of the middle of the night, just having that encouragement of being, called to something greater than ourselves and feeling God's presence in all of it. And I think that alone also made the decision so much easier because it was like all the doors were opening and everything became easy.
Welcome to Create Your Own Economy with Bunmi Ajibade, the podcast that empowers corporate professionals ready to break free and transition into entrepreneurship with confidence and clarity, as well as business owners looking to grow and scale their businesses. If you're exhausted from building other people's dreams, leaving you little time or energy to focus on what truly matters to you, you are in the right place. Each week, we provide actionable strategies, expert interviews, and real-life success stories to help you turn your ideas into thriving business. Ready to take bold, clear steps toward life and business you deserve? Let's get started. What if your passion project, those things that you do in your home, in your kitchen, that you are passionate about, what if they could become your paycheck? Have you ever wondered those homemade recipes or remedies that you think you play with, but you swear by them because they work? What if they can become your next big wellness brand or your next big product brand? Have you ever thought of that? Because that is what my guest today will prove to you. That is possible, and today's episode is powerful. And I know many of you have some business breakthrough, but you are sitting on it. I don't know why, but she's here to encourage you, to get you up and get you going. And this is a story of resilience. This is a story of I can do it. And this is also a story for you that if she did it or if she's doing it, you also can do it. Because she did not just build a business, but she started a movement, and she has shared that movement with me, the power of elderberries. So let's talk about how that power, that movement is really helping people. Because whatever product you come up with, it should have an impact on somebody's life. And that is what her product has done. So welcome back again to Create Your Own Economy podcast, where we help corporate professionals and those of you still doing 9-to-5 jobs to become visionary entrepreneurs and turn your gifts into legacy-driven business. So today I have Jessica Lowery. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes, I have Jessica Lowery here, who is going to share with us her passion, some things she went through, because we all know in business, everything is not rosy, right?
Right.
Right. So let me just say a little bit about Jessica. She is not just somebody that just started something from nowhere. She is a visionary CEO. And I was listening to Simon Sinek, and he said, when you call people CEO, that he will prefer it changed to CVO, Chief Visionary Officer. And that is who Jessica is. She is a mom. She's a public health lecturer, and the powerhouse behind the Power of Elderberries, a wellness brand trusted by thousands across the nation. What started in her kitchen as a way to protect her family's immune health has now helped over 100,000 people live healthier lives and live it naturally. So, if you are a health conscious woman or mom dreaming of entrepreneurship, or if you've been stuck waiting for the right time, this conversation will really show you how faith, wellness, and aligned action can build a thriving business. So, Jessica, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you today.
Yes, we've been looking at this for a long time, and I'm happy we're here. I'm really happy because this is the end of the year, and we see people go back. I wrote something down in January that this will be the year, and this is December, and many of them have moved a little bit. Many of them are still waiting for it to be perfect and all that. So this episode will help them to really take action, do something today, because it's all about action. So let's start from the beginning. You are a busy person, a mom, you have a job, I'm sure a full-time job. So what inspired you to create the elderberry syrup? What was the inspiration?
Well, I will say nearly 8 years ago, in January of 2018, I knew it was cold and flu season. I wanted to support my family's immune system. I myself had an earlier experience with elderberries 5 years earlier in 2013. I was pregnant with my son at the time, and I had chills, fever, body aches, all these things come on when I was about 7 months pregnant. And I was looking for something more natural because I didn't want to go your traditional route with Tamiflu and all those other things that you typically get when you don't feel well. And I researched natural remedies. And at that time, I had come across the use of elderberries, had a couple doses, and my fever broke and chills went away. And I became an instant believer of this herb that's been around for thousands of years and its healing properties. So I had bought several different brands of elderberry products, brought them into my home, and my 2-year-old daughter at that time would spit out every single brand that I would bring home. And I knew how good it was. I knew that it worked. I knew that it was great for supporting our immune system. And in 2018, I had 3 kids under the age of 5, and I wanted elderberry back in our home. The problem was I couldn't find a brand that my kids liked the taste of. And I also couldn't come across a brand that I approved as a mom, the quality of ingredients that went into those often store-bought shelf brands. So I took it upon myself. I made a batch in my home kitchen for my own family. That was my only mission, was to make it taste good. So they would take it every single day and keep out all the added sugar, fillers, dyes, flavoring, preservatives, all the things I didn't want in there. I posted a picture of myself in my home kitchen making my first batch of elderberry syrup for my family. I shared my testimony from 5 years earlier on how it helped me overcome flu symptoms. And to my surprise, I had a few friends reach out and ask if I had any extra that I would be willing to sell. Now, I have to say, at that point in my life, I had been dropped to my knees weeks prior, asking God to show me a way to earn more income for my family. We were in a season of struggle. My husband was dealing with health issues. I had courses dropped from my lecturer position at the university. So our income was really, really tight in that time of our life. So as soon as I saw friends ask if they could purchase some, right then and there, I was like, this is the answered prayer. I did not plan on making elderberry syrup for other people, but I have been called to do this, and I'm going to
Yes.
step in to help support my family during this time of need. And so that's what I did. And what started off as, a couple jars to a few friends quickly turned into hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds, to where my husband was with me in the kitchen from 7 o'clock at night to 3 o'clock in the morning. We had 3 kids in car seats. We would meet people at the library and the parking lots on weekends and with elderberry syrup and mason jars and coolers. And that's where our story started. And it wasn't till a couple weeks in that I realized, oh my gosh, this is actually a business that I never saw coming. And that is when we stepped into getting, a business license and LLC and started really learning about what it means to put a consumable in someone else's mouth and how that
Mm.
certification and safety measures and pH level and water activity and all that
Mhm.
came into play.
Mhm.
But I was
Yes.
working full time at the time. My husband was working full
Yes.
time, and he resigned from his job about 6 months into us creating this out of our home kitchen to fully support what I was doing because I wanted to go back to what I loved, which was teaching. I was a lecturer at the
Mm.
university in the public health department, and I continued to do that for 2 more years until 2020. I did resign from teaching, and my husband and I run the business together full time now.
Oh my goodness. So I was going to ask you before that, did your position or the work you do, did that play a role? But I can see now that your skill set, your position, whatever you do before you come up with your product doesn't have to play a role. I mean, you were just looking for something that will work for your family and sharing it. Other people are like, oh, it worked for you? I think I need it, and now it's a full time business. So when you decided to go full, to even try it as a business. What was the process like for you? I mean, looking at your family, your husband, the children, what was the process like for you, during that shift from me and my kids, me and my family to, oh, let me share it with Bumi, let me share it with somebody else. What was that like?
Yeah, a lot of words come to mind. I mean, for one, it was scary. I mean, it's that act of faith when you feel like you're being called to do something. It's always scary, right? Fear is one thing that often blocks us, but once we step a past and above that fear, we see the opportunity that we've been called to. And so that is one thing. Of course, getting my husband's support was another thing. It was exhausting because we had very young children at the time, so we were up late at night. But the real reward in it, and that what really keeps us putting one foot in front of the other, even 8 years later today, is the true impact that it's making on other people's quality of life. And that alone is why I jump out of bed excited to do this work. Not only had a huge impact on our own family in terms of keeping us well, less sick doctor's visits, if any at all, not having to reach for anything over the counter, and having this formula that supports whole body wellness that we've discovered over the years above and beyond just immune support. And that's why I love doing this work because it is having a profound effect on the health of others. And it really did start from a passion project very early for myself at the age of 19. I did not grow up being passionate about holistic health. I knew nothing about holistic health. I grew up with Western medicine. I was sick all the time. I was constantly on antibiotics. I ate fast
Mm.
food. I didn't get home cooked
Mm.
meals. There was a lot of differences. But once I stepped into this world and learning more about this passion within me of wanting different for my own family, that's
Mhm.
what really made this such a beautiful passion project that I continue to do today because it's rooted in my values as a person and who I am. And I always tell people what I want for my own family, I'm honored to share with yours. So I do think it's important for people to really find what they're passionate about, what
Mm.
gets them excited, and what is true to their own values, not what other people think they should do, not what other people think it should be like, but really finding that clarity in what makes, you excited and joyful. And this product surely has done that for us.
Look, you said something. It could be scary.
Mhm.
There's fear because you are doing something that you have not done before, and you want to take a step that you are not sure will work because it could have gone the other way, right?
Mhm.
But because of your faith, and one other thing that you added that I want us to explore, the buy in of your husband.
Mhm.
Because I think as a mom, but as a family person, you need the buy in of your family to be able to make it work or move to the next level. And I think that buy in is so important because imagine if your husband was not on board and you had to be up from 9 to 3 or 12 to 3 a.m. doing something, there will be trouble in the home. Definitely.
And I knew 4 months into the business that it was too much. We both had full-time
Mm,
jobs. We had kids. I
mm,
was nursing. I had 3 kids under 5. I was actually ready to throw in the towel at that point if I didn't have my husband's buy-in because it was too much.
mm,
And in fact, I can remember looking at him and saying, I think you either need to quit your job or we're going to have to shut all this down. And
mm.
selfishly, I said that to him because I didn't want to quit my job because I absolutely loved it. And I couldn't even
Love what you
imagine giving
did.
up teaching. But yet I had been called to start this business. So I was really at an odds with myself on dividing my time and energy and passion because I was doing what I loved, teaching health classes, all the while being called to start this business and see it thriving already and changing people's lives in ways that I never imagined. So when my husband looked at me and said, let's jump, in fact, I was actually taken back by that. And I can remember listening to Billy Graham sermons in the kitchen while we would be making it at the wee hours of the middle of the night, just having that encouragement of being, called to something greater than ourselves and feeling God's presence in all of it. And I think that alone also made the decision so much easier because it was like all the doors were opening and everything became easy. And those challenges, they were just like small little hurdles that we were able to overcome that didn't completely slam the door as a hard no of, in fact, it was like the door swing wide open and it was like, are you going to come through or are you going to stay? You know?
Wow, amazing. Because when you are called, when you have done the work, and you are so sure that this is what you are called to do because it will make a difference in people's lives, and you are rooted in that calling, then, as you said, all those um, maybe tears at night or tiredness, or you come up with this little thing today and it will help you to keep going because those things will not stop you, but they will want to make you look for ways to overcome those problems, those challenges, and keep on moving. So, you starting a home remedy and then becoming a business, I know there are so many things involved before you take it from your kitchen to making it a brand, because that was how I started my skincare. And it's just, so how did you test the market? Because I know somebody reached out to you, but then you did more than that one person. How did you test the market to see that, oh yeah, I think I got something here?
Well, I think the biggest thing was word of mouth, and people that were getting it were telling others about it. And they were putting things out on social media. And before we knew it, it became dozens and then hundreds. And people's lives were really changing, where, it would stop sickness like that, or it would prevent them from getting sick. And then we also had people where they share with us that they no longer needed things like over-the-counter medicine for their allergies, and it was helping them with joint health and inflammation. So we started learning more about what all this formula was doing for people above and beyond just supporting their immune system during cold and flu season. But we also very quickly got ourselves into the local farmers markets. And that alone
Mm.
also helped grow our brand very, very quickly. We live in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, so it's a very high tourist area. And once we got into farmers markets and started growing to different locations within our county and people coming there to see us, it started growing our business that way organically. And then, of course, we were able to get out of meeting people at parking lots and around town. And then ultimately, landing a commercial kitchen, which is like finding a needle
Mm.
in a haystack, and hiring a director of operations to take over my formulation so I could continue to go back to work. And kind of
Mm.
everything just kind of falling into place. Then, of course, once we got the commercial kitchen, we were able to grow our wholesale accounts and get it to other areas that were carrying the product for us. And of course, all between all of that was, of course, certifications and testing and, labeling and working with a marketing agency for branding and figuring out what bottles work best for our product. And then, the product testing and FDA registration and all those things, which it sounds like a lot, and it really was. Of course, getting going and learning about all the things that go into the safety of a consumer
Mhm.
product.
Safety.
And ultimately, that is the
Safety.
most important. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, I've learned a lot about supplements along the way and over the years. And not all supplement companies take those extra precautions like we have
Yeah.
as far
Yeah.
as product testing and, the compliance and regulations that they're keeping up with. So it's been a lot of learning opportunity, but it's only helped us grow and rooted in this very high quality premium brand that we become, that customers trust us for. We know that the integrity of what we do and not
Yes.
changing anything despite it reducing costs. And I think that people
Mhm.
really see the heart behind what we do and why we do it. And it all falls back to, again, a mom making this formulation for her own family.
For our
And I
own
always
family.
Yes, and I always tell people this is something that we take every single day, year round. Why would I alter different processes or ingredients to make it more cost effective when I
Effective.
myself want the highest quality that I can put my hands on for my own family? And that's what drove the passion to create it from the very beginning. So I think people that have a passion and are making homemade artisan handcrafted products, that's one of our biggest differentiators, that we
Yes.
ourselves are so passionate because we use this as our own family. But it's very easy to get caught up as you grow into other people's ideas and their thoughts. And well, what if you do
Mm.
this, Jessica? And why don't you do this, Jessica? And why aren't you cutting corners here, Jessica? And, all of that has come. And I think if you stay true to, your passion and your values and your integrity and having God rooted right there with you, it's
Yes.
it's very easy to see the distractions, but also it's been very easy to stay true and focused onto what I
Yes.
want it to be.
Yes. Yes. I absolutely love Jessica. The values, stay true to your values, stay true to those things that make you love the product for your family. Because when you begin to listen to the noise, when you begin to listen to other people giving you ideas of how you can make it better, if you are not careful, you will move away from what you love about that product. And I'm talking from experience too, because they are looking at money, they are looking at price, but I am not looking at money or how much I will make from it. I'm looking at how will it change somebody's life. So if I agree to your suggestion, am I going to jeopardize other people's trust in what I have built? So that is so important. So when you were talking about the things that you had to do, A, B, C, D, oh, I can hear somebody saying, oh, she must have faced a lot. I don't know how to go about it. I'm a mom or I'm single, I'm alone, I can't do it. What are some of the obstacles? Just give me one or two and how you overcame those obstacles?
Well, I think one of the biggest obstacles was knowing that I didn't know anything about putting a consumable in other people's mouths. And so I couldn't rely on my own experience
Yes.
or my own certifications to continue to grow this brand. So the biggest obstacle
Mm.
was, how are we going to make more of this without Jessica making it in her kitchen? And how are we going to make sure that it's safe for consumers to put this in their mouths of their families? So it was leaning on, someone else to take over my formulation that continues to work for us today. That is our director of operations. We're very thankful that this was a friend that used to be a former chef that had the experience, that was actually willing to jump with us and give up his
Wow.
former job in order to support this endeavor. And he didn't know a thing about elderberries at the time. So, jumping, and that was scary. We had a commercial kitchen. Now we had to find someone to help us make it. As far as finances, it was really, really tight at the beginning. In fact, every penny that we made went right back into the business. And it continued to do that for years and years and years and years, because that's just what you do in order to grow a company, especially if you're not
Yes.
wanting to, take out loans and all the different things that go into different opportunities. And then, of course, there's been investors along the way that have wanted to
Mhm.
step into it that I have put a hard no to, because going back to what I just shared, if I
Yes.
did that, then I'm giving up opportunity for that investor to have their own thoughts and feelings and ideas and opinions on how to change it to make more profit. And I didn't want that. And I think that there's always obstacles that will come, but kind of like what I talked about before, it's always going to be challenging. There's always going to be obstacles, but you have to have a vision of where you're wanting to go. And if it's meant to be, those obstacles are going to go away. And the true
Yes.
light and vision of what you've been called to do this for will stay true. And honestly, we're almost 8 years into the business, and I
Wow.
have never been more clear of where I want to take this business than ever before. And I will tell you that for 8 years, I struggled. I didn't start with a business plan. I didn't know
Mm.
anything what I was doing from the very beginning. I've learned a lot over the years. But I think when you quiet the noise around you and you just kind of sit
Mm.
still and really, really, you know, stay true to who you are. And for me, this last year, the word purpose has shown up over and over and over, because I want to build a legacy. I want there to be greater purpose than what the product is already bringing to people's lives. It's like I'm made for more. I know that I am. I can feel it. I just don't know what that looked like. And now I have clarity on how I can bring more meaning and purpose and legacy to this brand that I've built, that's
Yes.
true and honoring who we are as people, and also our giving heart on how we've wanted to implement that into our brand and touch more and more lives as a result of that.
Oh, look, see, I'm writing. I am, as you're talking, I'm writing. I'm like, whoa, whoa. Look, I don't know if you heard what Jessica said. She said she didn't have um, a business plan at the beginning. Remember, she was just doing it for her family. So, although when we coach and all that, we ask you to have a business plan, but I always say, do not let a full business plan derail your focus from what you're doing, because you can see she didn't start with a business plan, with a business vision, but God placed this passion project in her life. And you can see how, with consistency, with focusing on her values, she's overcoming one obstacle after another. Because for those of us that have products that will come up with in our homes or however, finance is always a big issue. But you heard what Jessica said. She was working. The husband was working. They had people that believed in their vision. I knew, even before you told me, I know that it was tight.
Mhm.
Money was tight. You went back to your teaching job,
That's
right?
it. Hmm.
I'm sure that one is also based out of passion for what you do. So I will encourage you, if you are thinking of, I want my passion project, my kitchen remedy, or whatever I'm doing right now, I really want to go all in and make my brand known, and I really work this brand. I know you can do it. Even if it means you taking a part-time job to fund whatever you need to fund, or you can reduce your spending. You can take out maybe Dish Network or something that wouldn't serve you, because you wouldn't even have time to watch TV. You will be working on and it might be just for 6 months. Whatever you can do to reduce your spending, so that, or you can ask your partner, ask your family, see how you can make it work. But what Jessica just said is very important for you to validate your ideas. Make sure that you are not the only one, because we love our children, right?
Mhm.
That elderberries, that is a baby that was born in your kitchen.
Yes, it
So
was.
any idea, any project, any service or product that we come up with, we are so passionate about it. But the question is, what about other people? Will they be passionate about that product? That is why it's important for you to validate the ideas. Remember, word of mouth, people were sharing on social media, they were going to farmers market, they were out there. So we cannot stay in our homes and think that we can scale the business and think that people will see the business and think that the business will grow. Now, I know you talk about faith, you talk about family. Um, how has that led to the growth of this business? Because I know that is important to you.
Absolutely. Now more than ever. But yes, I knew that I was called to do this, especially since I had been praying during that time of God to show me an opportunity to help my family financially. And I knew that selling elderberry syrup was going to help me do that. But also, we have been through a lot of challenges and struggles, and I know that God has never left my side. I know that I do believe there's purpose in everything, and there was a lot of heartache and challenges and tears and times that I really just wanted to throw in the towel just because it felt so hard and too much. And why am I doing this? And is this really what we're supposed to be doing? It sounds like going back to teaching just would be so much easier. But I always knew deep down that this is what we were called to do, and there's purpose in this. And I think my faith and just trusting that things will get easier and that God is by my side through all of this. Really, this past year, through many, many different changes within the business, I'm really seeing the light that things will get easier. And I know that there's more challenges to come. Of course, there always are. But I do feel his presence, and my husband and I are connected more than ever, and prayer is a big
Oh,
part of my life. And, again, the customers that come to even our storefront or the farmer's market and wrap their arms around me and tell me that this has been an answered prayer for their life. I know that God's present not only in our family and this business, but also I believe that He calls those that need healing to our business. I don't feel like there's
yes.
any, I feel like there's purpose in every single person that I meet. I actually pray over the events that I work before I go, asking God to bring me people that need to be healed and that need our formula to help support their health.
Yes.
So I can just feel God's presence all around. I know that I have big ideas and dreams and vision for 2026 and beyond, and really bringing him to the center of this business. Um, I think that he's been kind of in the back seat for some years, and me being completely present and knowing that he's right here with me. I
Yes.
think that that alone makes a big difference in the clarity and in the purpose and the
Yes.
vision that has really opened up to where I want to take it.
Oh my goodness. When we talk about purpose-led business, it's more about you fulfilling a legacy. It's more about you, um, living your purpose. My late pastor, Pastor Gabriel, will say, God does not create junk. He brought you here. There is a reason. And I think the fulfillment that comes from somebody coming to you and say, "Oh, my kids, they were so sick, were in and out of hospital, but when I took the remedy, they are well." I mean, that kind of testimony, it is amazing. It is amazing. So we're going to round up, and I will ask this question. What do you wish you knew before you start, or when you started 8 years ago? Now it's 8 years after. What would that be? What did you wish you knew?
The thing that comes to my mind are the words, I am capable. And I have to share that because for many, many years, I would believe and tell myself lies that I'm not capable, that I'm not enough. I would wrestle with God. Why did you call me this to this? You could have used anybody. Why did you pick me? I don't want this. I'm not enough. I don't deserve this because I don't know how to do this. And so those stories and those lies are really what held me
Mm,
captive, and the imposter syndrome and all the things that
mm.
I went through for many, many years. And more than ever, I will tell people I am not the same person I was 6 months ago, and I am not the same person I was 6 years ago. I, for the first time, am finding and realizing and discovering and believing that I am capable. And I am stepping into my purpose now more than ever. I feel like I'm stepping into my own skin and finding who I am, not only as a person, but as a mother and a wife and a business leader and all the things, because those lies, they're not there anymore. And that
Yes.
has really set me free in the vision and the purpose on where I see the power of elderberries going, because I now believe I am capable and I can do this.
Yes. Yes, you are. Oh my goodness. Look, if you are listening to Jessica right now, this is real life story. This is not somebody making up anything. And that imposter syndrome happens to nearly every one of us, especially when you want to bring the best out. You have something telling you, "Oh, are you a skincare formulator? What do you know about skincare? The fact that you work in a skincare company, does it give you the whatever to be an expert?" And then you hear that noise.
Mhm.
Are you enough? So whatever noise is coming to you right now, I want you, our listeners, to stop. What is the lie, or what are the lies that you are telling yourself why you shouldn't take this project, this remedy, this whatever it is that God has put in your hands? What is the excuse? What are you telling yourself? But today, Jessica and myself, we are telling you that you are worthy, that you can do it, that God has a purpose to use that for somebody else. It might not be for you. Most of the time, it's not for you, it's for somebody else. So if you stop or if you delay in bringing it out to the world, remember those people that you are denying the opportunity
Mhm.
or to test that product or to use that product that is in your house, in your home, in your kitchen.
Mhm.
And as I round up, I want you to please give one or two words of encouragement to corporate professionals who are thinking of starting a business. And I know you know a thing or two about that. You also being in the corporate world and see that business. What advice would you tell them?
I think the first thing that comes to mind is fear we know is there. But I always like to tell myself with the acronym FEAR, face everything and rise.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, that's
that,
another way of like, oh, face everything and rise. Oh, I didn't
Mhm.
know that.
Because when I step into all the things that have held me back out of fear, there's always even more opportunity on the other side. But you can never see that opportunity if you don't step into that fear. So I think
Yes,
that that's
step into the fear because that opportunity, that answer to the prayers you were praying for extra income in your home, that answer was on the other side of fear. So if you let fear stop you, then you can move to where that prayer will be answered to, oh my
And
goodness,
it's
thank you.
amazing. It's also amazing just the peace that comes over you once you step into
Mm.
the fear. And that's when you know that something that you needed to do to move, right? To bring more purpose and passion into what you're wanting to do. You feel that peace. And that peace always comforts us in knowing that, even though it was hard, it was the right decision.
Yes, peace, peace that passes your understanding,
Mhm.
because our understanding will limit us, our strength, our skill set, what we know how to do will limit us, the comfort zone will limit us. But once we scale that hurdle of fear, that peace comes in. It doesn't mean that with peace that you wouldn't have obstacles here and there, but it's assurance that what you're doing, the assurance that the product that you have come up with is there to make another person's life better. So if your product has nothing to offer people, you don't have any product. But those of you listening to us, I know you have an idea that will make somebody else's life better. So that is why we're doing this. So the success that we look for in business is defined by the impact that we create. If you look at the impact of elderberries on people's immune system, she was talking about joint health. That was the reason I was talking to my AP, talking about arthritis and all that. She said, oh, I know something. So always the success of a business is defined by the impact you create, the impact that people will see in their lives, and they will actually be your billboard. They will be your testimonial. They will be the one telling people and bringing people to you.
I think too, people will learn so much more about their product once people start using it, because that is what happened to us, far beyond our understanding of what we thought this product was helpful with. We discovered through customers that had our product that dealt with other things that our family did not. And that
Wow.
formulation of not only the European black elderberry, but local raw honey and ginger root and cinnamon and clove, and
Mm,
that concoction of ingredients that we pulled
yes.
together And
Yes.
the benefits that it's bringing to people's health surpassed our understanding. And that's when we knew it was made for more and there was more purpose behind it, to bring healing to whole body health and not necessarily just supporting people's immune system, which is traditionally what elderberries are used for. But going back to why we do what we do, if you think about it, you would never be able to experience joint health and support and inflammation if you were consuming a product that was full of sugar, right? Because sugar causes inflammation.
Yes.
So when people think about elderberry, well, no, not all elderberry is going to help support joint health, but our particular formula is. And the
Yes.
reason we stay true to what we do is because there is such value for our consumers that
Very
take
true.
our product with the knowing that we stay true to what we do. And that's another reason why we choose not to alter anything, because if it stopped people's benefit that they're receiving from our product, then what is the real purpose of why we're doing what we do?
What is the real purpose? What is the impact that you have created from the
Right.
beginning and then listening to other people's ideas?
Mhm.
Then you lose that. Oh, Jessica, thank you so much. So, if this conversation sparked something in you, I don't want you to ignore it. If you are thinking, oh my God, I'm like Jessica, I want to be like Jessica, don't ignore it. Whether you are building it after hours or some people wake up in the morning. I've heard people that will say, my day starts at 4. So they need to be in bed by 8 or 9. Their day will start at 4 and they're able to do whatever they do before they go to work. Look, do whatever works for you. Whether you are building it after hours or you are building it, however it is, it's really very important that you stay true. And I will want to personally invite you to join me in January. There will be a powerful webinar where I will be talking more about just specific strategies that will make that business successful. And as I said at the beginning, I'm working on my organic skincare brand. I spent a lot of money on skincare. I worked in a skincare industry and I loved skincare. But it got to a point when I started looking into my health and really prioritizing my health. And I said, look, if I am prioritizing ingesting organic products, why not on the outside? And that was how I started that journey of really in my kitchen and people, can I have a little bottle? Can I have a tester? Can I have whatever? I had to even ship some of them out of the country for people, to try them. So, in January, there will be a webinar where we'll really help you. So there will be a wait list that you can go in and really look into that. And also, hopefully, there will be some collaboration between myself and Jessica to really support you, because this is what we do. It is a passion project. It is what God has given us, and we are not gatekeeping. We want to also see that you succeed. Thank you, Jessica, for your time. Thank you for your openness. Thank you for letting God use you for other people. And 2026 will be amazing. And you would not want to miss out on your vision coming true. You will not to miss out on that product in your kitchen. I want you to stand up now, go to your kitchen, go bring that product or that service or whatever it is, put it in your hand and speak life into that product for 2026. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for tuning in to Create Your Own Economy with Bunmi Ajibade. I hope this episode gave you the clarity and inspiration to take the next step in your entrepreneurial journey. If you're a corporate professional feeling stuck or unfulfilled, and you are thinking about starting your own business, but find yourself asking, how, what, where, who, or when, I invite you to download my special curated guide, Transition from Corporate Professional to Entrepreneur, the 10-step guide for success. This guide is designed to make your transition smoother and less stressful. Afterward, schedule a clarity call to map out your personalized success path. We invite you to write a review, like, and share this episode with anyone who needs this information. See you in the next episode.